Pip is a high school student in a small, peaceful town. Her life there with her family and friends is quiet and uneventful. However, only 5 years ago, a popular high school student named Andy suddenly went missing, and Pip happened to be one of the last people who saw her. That day, while Pip was at her locker, Andy, looking distressed, walked by, and her boyfriend Sal soon arrived and followed after her. When Andy went missing, the police suspected that Sal had murdered her. Before he could be officially charged, Sal confessed to killing Andy and then took his own life. Since then, his family's house has constantly been vandalized by kids in the neighborhood, but Pip believes that Sal was a good guy and decides to uncover the truth behind Andy's disappearance. Even better, she makes it her EPQ, Extended Project Qualification, project. First, Pip tries to talk to Sal's younger brother, Ravi, but Ravi isn't ready to talk about his brother's death yet. Her best friend, Kara, has an older sister named Naomi who used to be Sal's best friend. After some persuading, Naomi eventually opens up and shares a bit about what she knows. Naomi reveals that Sal actually had an alibi for the night Andy disappeared, but their conversation is interrupted when Naomi and Kara's father, Elliot, who is an English teacher at their school, comes home from a tutoring session. After this, Pip tries to talk to Max, another one of Sal's friends, but he ignores her. Pip then asks her mom to get her a job as a server at a party hosted by Max's family, hoping for a chance to talk to him. Day later, she and Kara work at their outdoor party in star-themed costumes. Later that night, Pip finds the right moment and follows Max when he's alone inside the house. She follows him to the basement and asks him about the case. He tells her that he'll only answer her questions if she takes a shot of alcohol after each one. She agrees and gets a few of her questions answered. Max reveals that Naomi was missing for a while that night, and that Sal had asked him and their other friends to lie to the police about his alibi, but in the end, Max decided to tell the truth. Pip asks Max if he ever had feelings for Andy, but Max denies it. Pip is very drunk after the conversation, and Kara takes her home. It turns out that Kara also knew Naomi and the others lied about Sal's alibi but never told Pip. Kara tells Pip to stop stirring up trouble. They argue, and Pip storms off, still in her star costume, and walks to Ravi's house. She meets Ravi and Sal's mother, who invites her inside. Pip apologizes to Ravi and tells him she's investigating the case because she believes Sal is innocent. When Ravi asks why she thinks that, Pip says it's because Sal was very kind to her when she was little. Ravi then takes her to the room he used to share with Sal. Ravi shows Pip Sal's phone, and she notices that the grammar in the confession text admitting to killing Andy is very different from his usual texting style. They conclude that Sal did not send the confession text and decide to figure out who did. Pip takes the phone home and goes through the old chat messages between Sal and Andy, where she finds Sal asking Andy to stop doing something. Pippa wonders what it was that Sal was asking Andy to stop doing. The next day, Pip goes to talk to Emma, one of Andy's best friends. Emma tells her that Andy and Sal had a very happy relationship and that they never fought. However, the texts in Andy's chat suggest otherwise. When Pip brings it up, Emma suddenly gets upset, kicks Pip out, and tells her never to contact her again. Pip then visits another of Andy's best friends. Nat reveals that Andy was secretly sleeping with someone else behind Sal's back. Nat tells Pip to stop digging into the case and walks away. After that, Pip meets up with Ravi and tells him what Nat said. They decide to figure out who the mystery guy was and text Emma, pretending to be Nat. Emma reveals that Andy's secret lover was an older guy. Later that night, during a group picnic with her friends, Pip and the girls notice a man lurking near their campsite. Pip tries to run after him but quickly loses sight of him. When she returns to the tent, she finds a note on her pillow that says, "Stop digging, Pip." She's terrified but refuses to stop. The next day, after returning from the picnic, she and Ravi go to talk to Nat again and ask her more about Andy's love life. This time, Nat reveals that there was something going on between Max and Andy. Pip begins to suspect that Max might be Andy's secret lover. That night, after Ravi goes home, Pip decides to visit Max at his house alone. Max's dad lets her in. While Max is in the bathroom, Pip takes the chance to snoop around his room and finds a photo of Andy in a bikini. Just as she snaps a picture of it, Max walks in. She asks him about the photo, and Max says he found it in a classroom at school. Pip then asks if he knew what Andy and Sal were fighting about back in 2019 before her disappearance. Max tells her that Sal had found out Andy was working for a dealer and wanted her to stop. Max admits that he was one of Andy's customers, and she often sold magic powder at some exclusive parties. Pip wants to attend the exclusive parties where Andy used to sell magic powder in order to find out who the dealer was. With help from her friends, Pip gathers information about the party's location and plans to go there that weekend. Ravi can't join her because people at the party know who he is and would likely give them a hard time because of Sal. At the party, Pip sees one of her classmates using the powder and asks him to take her to the dealer. He introduces her to a guy named Howie. Howie admits that Andy worked for him. Pip asks him more about her, and he says that Andy was dealing all kinds of heavy drugs and used to hide her stash in a burner phone and a plush rabbit. Disturbed by what she hears and overwhelmed by the party atmosphere, Pip leaves early without telling her friends. Later, Ravi calls to check on her. After the call, Pip receives another threatening message, this one even scarier than the last. The next morning, while on her way to meet Ravi, Pip runs into Andy's sister, Becca. Becca is angry at Pip for reopening the investigation into Andy's case. Pip tells Ravi about the stuffed rabbit and the drugs Andy was hiding in her room. She wants to sneak into the house to search for a possible burner phone. Ravi can't go with her, his presence would stir up more trouble with the family. Pip sneaks into the house and finds the stuffed rabbit, which still has some drugs hidden inside, but there's no sign of a burner phone. Outside, Ravi tries to warn her that Becca has come back home, but Pip doesn't see the message in time. Ravi sneaks into the house to help, and the two of them hide inside Andy's closet, just as Becca is about to open the closet. The doorbell rings. It's Dan, Nat's brother. He is a police officer and on patrol. Pip and Ravi escape by climbing down a drainpipe. Dan sees them as they run to the car, but they manage to drive away just in time. In the plush, beside the drugs, they find a note containing a list of buyers' initials. Later, Pip also discovers a hidden hotel name on the note and decides to go there with Ravi. At the hotel, Pip speaks to the receptionist. When she shows him a picture of Andy, he claims she was there a few weeks ago but refuses to give any more details. To get more information, Ravi pulls the fire alarm, causing an evacuation. While everyone is outside, Pip grabs the guest register book. After people return inside, Pip and Ravi sneak into one of the hotel rooms. They realize that the bikini selfie of Andy was taken in the bathroom of this very hotel. They quickly flee and go to a diner. Pip flips through the guest register and finds an entry written in fake names, handwritten in Andy's style. That night, Pip tries calling the phone number Andy listed in the register, but the call doesn't go through. To her shock, Pip also finds her father's name signed in the book on the same day he had claimed to be visiting his mother 5 years ago. The next day, Dan stops Pip on her way to school. He tells her he knows she broke into Andy's house and warns her to stop investigating, saying it's only going to hurt their family. When Pip tells him it's impossible that Sal was the one who made Andy disappear, Dan shows her a video clip from Sal's police interrogation where Sal becomes aggressive and tries to attack the detective. Pip is shaken to discover this side of Sal. With so many doubts, Pip struggles to focus at school. Later, at home, she talks to her mom about her father. Her mom admits that she and Pip's dad had been going through some issues in their marriage, but insists she doesn't believe he ever cheated. Later, Pip's dad tries to speak with her, but she refuses to talk to him. Afterward, Pip meets up with Ravi and tells him about the video of Sal lashing out during the interrogation. Ravi argues that Sal's reaction was justified. He was being accused of killing the girl he loved. But at this point, Pip doesn't know what to believe anymore. That night, Pip hangs out with Kara. While casually using Naomi's computer to watch a movie, she accidentally discovers Max's private Instagram account. On the account, she finds a photo of Max, Naomi, and Jake taken on the night Andy disappeared. The clock in the background shows 12:06 a.m. Pip realizes that all three of Sal's friends are in the photo, so the only person who could have taken it is Sal himself. She confronts Naomi and asks what really happened. Naomi takes Pip to a private room and confesses that she had to lie about Sal's alibi because the real killer had found out what they had done. Naomi reveals to Pip that 5 years ago, she, Max, and Jake were involved in a drunk driving accident after a New Year's Eve party, which left a man in a coma. Max had been the one driving and called someone to cover it up. Naomi also tells Pip that months later, after Andy's disappearance and shortly after they were questioned about Sal, someone blackmailed the three of them into lying to the police in order to frame Sal. Max then joins the conversation, breaks Naomi's phone in anger, and points out that if Pip uses the photo to prove Sal's innocence, Naomi could get into serious trouble, putting Pip in a difficult position. Pip then talks it through with Kara and promises to try and find another way to prove Sal's innocence without harming Naomi. Back at home, Pip's dad talks to her and explains that he had been stressed at work and with issues involving her mother, which was why he decided to spend a few nights at the hotel to de-stress and get his life back on track. That night, Pip continues to receive threatening messages. Intending to provoke the killer, she posts a video claiming she has evidence proving Sal's innocence. That same night, Ravi appears outside her window and asks to come in. They hang out together, and he leaves before morning. However, the next day, during her younger brother's birthday party, Pip's dog, Barney, is found dead in the yard, leaving her devastated. After burying the dog in the garden, Pip realizes that the person Max had called after the 2019 accident was likely Dan. She confronts Dan at the police station, and he reluctantly admits to tampering with the crash scene. Explaining his reason, Dan reveals that 2 years before Andy went missing, he had a relationship with her. She was only 15 at the time, while he was an aspiring police officer. Max found out about it and used it to blackmail him. Therefore, Dan could not have been the one who blackmailed Naomi, Max, and Jake into framing Sal. The next day at school, Pip receives a call from the number she had found in the hotel guestbook. When she picks up, it turns out to be Naomi, who is now using her father Elliot's old phone after Max broke hers. Pip realizes that Elliot was Andy's older lover. Soon after, Pip and her group of friends are given a lift to Elliot's house to hang out with Kara. Pip deliberately leaves her phone in the car so she can track his location. At his house, she checks his printer and discovers that the threatening message telling her to stop digging had been printed from Elliot's computer. She also sees that Elliot recently visited the old family home, which they had moved out of years ago. Fearing that Andy might still be alive and being held there, Pip notifies Ravi and drives to the house, where she confronts Elliot. Elliot denies killing Andy and confesses that during a difficult period in his life after the death of his wife Isabel, he grew close to Andy, who had a troubled home life and was struggling in school. They developed a brief romantic relationship until Andy fell in love with Sal. A few days before she disappeared, Andy arranged to meet Elliot at the hotel and she asked him for money, which he refused. Days later, she came to his house to blackmail him again. When he refused, she became hysterical, and he pushed her away, causing her to hit her head on the kitchen counter. He went to get his phone to call an ambulance, but when he returned, she was gone. While Pip is listening to his story, she hears a tapping sound coming from the pipes. Elliot tries to reassure her that it's nothing and urges her to leave, but Pip runs upstairs to investigate. She discovers a woman who looks like Andy locked in the attic. Elliot immediately locks Pip inside the room with her. The young woman locked in the attic, Isla, tells Pip that she was homeless when Elliot found her and, for a moment, mistook her for Andy. When he realized she wasn't Andy, he was disappointed but still offered to let her stay for the night. That evening, Isla woke up and went downstairs, where she found Elliot drinking. He became emotional and confessed to killing Sal. When Isla tried to escape, Elliot stopped her and kept her locked in the house for the next 5 years. The police eventually arrived, arrested Elliot, and rescued both Pip and Isla. The case seemed to be closed, but Elliot never admitted to killing Andy. Pip compared the threatening texts and the note Elliot had left under her pillow and realized they weren't written by the same person. Moreover, on the day her dog Barney was killed, Elliot had been traveling with his daughter, meaning he couldn't have done it. This meant someone else was behind the threatening messages, and likely the one who killed Andy as well. Pip visited Elliot at the police station. He claimed that Andy had been trying to extort money from him because she wanted to run away from her abusive father, Jason. He also said Jason's alibi wasn't reliable. Pip decided to investigate further and went to Jason's workplace. There, Jesse, one of the employees, confirmed that Jason had gone to the factory that night to respond to a security alarm, and the CCTV footage proved it. Jesse added that Jason might have been strict with his daughters to protect them. She also revealed that Becca, Andy's sister, had secretly attended a party where she was drugged and assaulted. Pip deduced that Max was the one who bought roofie from Andy and believed he had deliberately lured Becca to the party and spiked her drink. Pip went to confront Becca, who eventually admitted that she had argued with Andy. Her sister had refused to help her report Max because she was the one who sold him the drugs. Feeling hurt and abandoned, Becca pushed Andy, who hit her head for the second time, fell, and died as Becca watched. Becca then took Pip to where she had buried Andy's body, but it was a trap. Becca had drugged Pip's drink with Rohypnol and planned to kill her to keep her secret. Fortunately, Pip's friends arrived just in time to save her. Although the truth had finally been uncovered, Pip made it clear to Max that she would not stop until he paid for what he did to Becca and other women. Pip completed her EPQ and later met Ravi. They finally kissed, marking a new beginning for both of them.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like for more videos like this.